Well done, Turkey. Countries have got something. Are we like that?
Yes, it's connecting. Okay, yeah, you should censor yourself now because
yeah. I was going to say, let me know we're live because I don't want to say something that might get you yeeted from YouTube. Something normal that people used to be able to say.
Could you imagine 4 years ago thinking that you're going to say this?
Dude, I can't imagine 4 years ago someone saying to me, "You'll be in a lockdown," and then still into the next year you'll be in a lockdown. I'm like, what the hell's a lockdown? Like, well, where everything's forced to shut by the government. I'm like, what, fascism? Because that's what this sounds like. Even though I don't think that the fascists would be this stupid as to do this.
Yeah, but it's for your own good, man.
Mate, we've seen the statistics, right? So in the last quarter, there's a 26% of excess deaths between 25 and 44. Lockdown, more than the yearly average. 26%, so a quarter higher. So that's like suicides and things like this.
Yeah, but they're not dying from COVID.
To death. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
fewer old people are dying from COVID.
Yeah, so it's working. Very completely.
Yeah. But it's totally awful.
You know what I read? You know what I read in the press?
What's that?
Scientists are saying that the current British lockdowns are not enough.
Oh yeah, no, they're getting worse. They're getting worse. Like the few things you could do during a lockdown are being restricted. It's Iraqi.
What can you do during a lockdown? Like what's allowed right now?
Well, like going to like essential shops and things like that. But and going for like a walk and stuff like this. There are going to be more restrictions now. So Boris has probably already announced them. I just haven't watched it. So I'm just chilling out for the evening now.
But do you really need to go to a walk? I mean, is it?
Dude, there was a woman who was arrested sitting on a bench.
Why was she sitting on a bench though?
Exactly, why she's sitting on a bench. That's what the COVID Stasi wanted to know. Honestly, it's awful. It's so awful what is happening here, man.
Yeah, but think about the good thing, right? Think about the day the government allows you to sit on a bench. Think how happy you'll be then.
I will be thrilled. That will be the best day of the rest of my life.
Yeah, but that's what's going to keep you going. Just keep that image in your heart. One day.
It definitely will keep me going.
Like, let me read you something from California now, okay?
Oh, I love hearing from California. California, if anyone needs to hear from anywhere, it's the world hearing from California, especially on, I don't know, domestic issues like homelessness and drug abuse. We definitely need to hear California's opinion on those. I mean, and that's before we get into any of these other sort of socialist. Jesus. California, give us your wisdom.
Okay. They will allow people to date, but they aren't allowed to kiss.
I thought you were going to say animals. I honestly thought you were going to say animals at the end of that.
No.
They will allow people to date. And I was like, I don't know where this sentence is going, but I don't know why. I think he's about to tell me that California is going to allow people to date animals.
No, yeah.
I just think that's what they're going to legalize. If it's not already legal, I haven't checked.
No, what's legal? I mean, what they're decriminalizing and punishing less is for spreading AIDS. But
yes.
Yeah, but
weirdly.
Spreading COVID is actually still an issue.
Well, I mean, of course. But again, yet another reason why nobody should listen to California.
But here's the thing, okay? The government is now restricting some of the measures, and people are allowed to date.
Oh, how progressive.
But there is...
COVID Sharia is nearly over.
There is...
I mean, in my country, that's way more progressive than Britain, right? Britain has really, really backwards COVID Sharia. I'm not allowed to have sex with someone who I don't live in the same house with.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say, that there is a caveat to this.
That's so weird. As just a principle we have to live by, you're only allowed to have sex with people in your house. You're like, okay.
Okay,
what
but
are you
like,
trying to say?
you're not allowed to have a mistress, I guess. So that's
right.
Conservative. That's a good thing.
It's just such a weird formulation. Like, why the fuck is the government telling me who I can and can't have sex with in a consenting manner? Like, it's such a weird, like it's just like Sharia. It's just like fucking Sharia. It's like, okay.
Well, hold on.
I didn't
How
think
can they
we'd be
enforce
under
that?
Sharia.
I mean, if you have sex,
well, I don't know. I guess someone will dob you in. Oh, so and so had sex with so and so, and the police will come around and fine you.
No, what I mean is, how can they know if you're living with that person or not? I mean, the person can claim they just moved in.
I don't know. How does any other tyrannical government do it? Do you think it's... I'm surprised you of all people think it's based on fucking fairness and justice. Like, there is no fucking... The mask is off, man. The mask is fully fucking off, in my opinion.
I don't know, man. I think it's for your own good. And the government... I think Boris Johnson really wants you to stay healthy.
Man, I would say, I really regret voting Conservatives, but does anyone think it would be better under Labour? It'd be exactly the same, if not everything. Literally, like a day before, like 2 days before, Keir Starmer will say, we need a stronger lockdown because otherwise people will die. It's like, okay, but a stronger lockdown will also kill people. But never mind Keir, right? And then Boris reflexively comes out and goes, no, that would be terrible. It'd be inhumane, blah, 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 blah. And then a couple of days later, he'll come out and go, oh, we're going to have a lockdown or it's going to get worse. Blah, blah, blah. I really hate you have to do this. It's like, well, then just don't. Don't do it, Boris. For the love of fucking God. Oh, people will die of COVID. Oh, and lockdowns have not prevented that. People are still, we're on a third fucking lockdown, right? They're predicting it's going to go to May, or like March, and then possibly May. And it's like, doesn't work. It kills young people if that's what you're aiming to do, but it doesn't work.
But it flattens
It's
the curve.
ruining my child's education, but it's not saving anyone. My nan died at 91 of cancer recently, so it's not like COVID is the only fucking thing. And what would have been nice is for her to have seen her great-grandchildren before she died. That would have been lovely.
Yeah, but it's
Sorry, I'm getting a lot off my chest here, but I'm so fucking pissed off, man.
it's
I hate
flattening
these
the
lines.
curve. I mean, it's giving.
It's not though. It's not the curve. It's a massive fucking spike, and they're like, "Oh God, this new." Is yeah. Well, you're all gonna have to get immune to it, aren't you? That's what's gonna have to happen. You know, get those fucking vaccines out as soon as possible to the old folk who are actually vulnerable. The average age of death of COVID in this country is 82. Right. The average life expectancy is 81, but that's fine. Well, sorry, I'm trying not to.
Okay, let's talk about more better things. Okay, here's the title from NBC News.
Oh God, please, yeah, give me some SJW nonsense.
Oh no, this is
Anything other than real world problems.
Well, remember when Jim was laughing at you about the SJWs and whatnot? It's like,
Yeah, dude, they're everywhere. They're fucking everywhere. Biden appointed this woman who unironically is like a genetic race realist. So she full on thinks that the black brain is different and superior, that can measure these things in ways the quantifiable in ways that Europeans can't measure. So we can't even understand how superior black people are. That's something. There's a letter she wrote in like 95. So maybe she's changed her mind, but I would like to hear the retraction before I give her the benefit of the doubt on that, because I don't think she's the kind of person who's changed her mind on this. So it's just like, everything's fucked, man. The SJWs have won.
But she's going to end hate, isn't she? I mean, that's...
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, you know what I think? It's like in one of those movies when they capture Hacker Man, and he's like the best hacker in the universe, but instead of locking him up, they hire him in the FBI so he can do counter hacking. So maybe this is what's going on here. Like, you take a racist so he can understand how racist thinks, and you put him in a position of power so he can deal with the other racists.
Sounds like a terrible plan.
Well, I saw it in the movies, and all right, look here.
So you're expecting them to appoint Richard Spencer to something?
Well, he is a CNN analyst, so why not?
Well, yeah, why not? I don't get invited on CNN. I'm not racist enough.
Listen here, bigot. Some Democrats, okay, so not all.
Listen here, bigot.
Yeah. Like take it seriously because this is important. NBC News, okay. Some Democrats, not all.
Sorry. No, I have to correct you here, right? So I've been hanging out with the MAGA crew a lot recently because I'm really invested in Trump winning, or not, as the case may be now. And the correct terminology is demon KKK rats.
Motherfucker, did this shit on your channel. Some Democrats in Congress. Okay?
I'm just reporting their terminology.
I'm gonna delete this stream after you're gone.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't trying to. I didn't think that was something that like you'd be nervous about. I'm not trying to get you.
Even the smell of garlic is enough now to spook me. Okay.
Oh, I know, it's awful, isn't it?
It's
like living. No, seriously, for anyone listening, it is honestly like living under a reign of terror. I'm not even joking. It is the same kind of emotional experience. Because like every day, I bet you do the same thing. You wake up, you check your channel, see if it's still there.
Yes, that's the first thing I did.
Every fucking day.
Yes.
You are literally afraid that arbitrarily some pinkhead shit in Silicon Valley has just removed your entire livelihood and your presence from the internet.
Well, actually, I think it's an AI, but okay.
Well, yeah.
If you want, the AI server can be.
The AI doesn't press the button itself, as it were. The human has to. Like, they're not going to just have AI deleting channels. What they'll have is an algorithm that's like selects channels and then it'll be reviewed by humans.
Yes.
But anyway, it doesn't matter, right? Some dipshit from Silicon Valley is literally going to destroy your livelihood. And it's like, okay, thanks very much. Why did I agree to this Faustian bargain?
I don't think there are any dipshits in Silicon Valley. If you're watching this video from Silicon Valley, I want to know that I appreciate what you're doing for the community to maintain health and safety in the conversation. Thank you very much.
We love and cherish you and think you're doing a wonderful job. You're definitely not sowing division across the world. You're definitely not getting foreign governments to turn on you as well, incidentally, just so you know. I mean, this has done damage in foreign relations. The fact that, like, Mexico are like, right, we're going to have some sort of commission about this. Like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck? Mexico is now like, oh, shit, Silicon Valley is a problem. You know? Like, that's weird, don't you think? that you're turning countries against America by censoring Donald Trump and censoring Parler. You fucking idiots. Do not like the amount of power that they have, right? I am actually completely up for the nationalization of Silicon Valley. Completely up for it. If this level of power over national and international discourse is going to be permitted to exist, then it certainly should be accountable to someone. Because at the moment, it's accountable to nobody, and that is insane. We shouldn't allow that.
You know
We
what's
should
funny?
No, seriously, we should. The antitrust laws should be employed by everyone right now, because Silicon Valley is obviously acting as a cartel. This needs to be broken up. The people involved in it need to be imprisoned. That's what you do with cartels.
Give it to them. Tell it.
No, seriously, that's what Rudy Giuliani did with the mob back in New York in the 70s. I think it was the 70s. Maybe it was the 90s. But this is what Rudy Giuliani made his name doing, is like, cartel busting. And so someone should be picking up that baton and leading the charge against Silicon Valley, getting them all convicted and getting them thrown in jail. Because they deplatformed the president of the United States. I mean, this is unreal. It's insane, right? To just say, look, we are going to silence the president of the United States, and he has absolutely no recourse whatsoever. Now, listen, plebs, this is what we're going to tell you. It's insane.
Didn't the media do the same thing, though? Like, he was in a press conference, and it's like, okay, we're going to stop here. It's like, we think the president is lying, so we're not going to cover it.
Yeah, but the media didn't get other newspapers put out of business. Like, that's the thing. Like, I hate the media more than anyone. Like, everyone knows how awful I think the media are, right? But on this point, I can't actually do too much to fault them, because they're not the ones who are like putting, using this cartel from Silicon Valley to shut down their opposition. They don't have that power.
Yes and no.
Like
BuzzFeed actually had an email campaign trying to target Greenback's advertisers.
Sure, yeah, advertisers, I agree. And I'm not saying it's like this distinct line, so all the media are innocent and they've never done anything, obviously. I have been personally demonetized by these shit heels, but the ultimate decision-making power lies with the tech giants in Silicon Valley. They're the ones making decisions to do this. And that's a problem. Like that's because there will always be media idiots writing stupid things. But the thing is, what is happening there is something legally called tortious interference, where a third party is interfering with a contract between two otherwise unrelated parties to them, right? So that's illegal, and the cabal tactics, the cartel tactics we're seeing from Silicon Valley, monopolistic, also illegal. Deplatforming competitors, definitely illegal, right? So there is a huge amount of lawlessness going on in the market. Like, the market has laws, the market has rules, and they're not being followed, and nobody's saying anything. It's really annoying. Ron Paul got censored, and it's like, dude, you're the guy who should be... but he's the guy who should be doing this. He's the guy who should actually saying, look, Silicon Valley, you're an unacceptable threat to democracy and the free market. These people have to be stopped. Because it's literally like this is like capitalist theory, right? This is what they would normally fall back on. And so why don't they engage it now? It seems important.
Well, yeah, but Ron Paul is the man with the ideology of leave me the fuck alone. I mean, that's a dangerous ideology to have.
He has that, obviously. That's the sort of ethos behind it. But the need for a particular set of rules to be in place for that kind of environment to flourish are embedded in libertarian thought. Like this is what like Hans Hermann Hoppe was about. As I understand it, he was like quite in favor of defensiveness. But there is genuine cause. Like the antitrust stuff is. I mean, they're currently under an antitrust investigation. So it's just like, why how big are their balls if they think that this isn't going to be affecting them in some way? And that obviously implies that Joe Biden is going to intercede on their behalf, right? And if you look at donations, if you look at donations to Biden, donations to Trump, the Biden donations are in millions, the Trump donations are in tens of thousands. So you can see where they thought their chips were going to land, right?
Yeah.
They gave Biden millions and millions of dollars.
Well, here's something interesting, right? In the news, remember
we're all fucked.
Remember when Poland said that they're going to ban? They're going to find social media that bans free speech, right?
Yep. God bless them. I hope they do.
Yeah. Apparently, Joe Biden and so the U.S. government and big tech is now having Poland in their targets.
Oh, what a surprise!
It is a surprise.
Hashtag defend Poland.
It's very similar to when a country picks on Huawei. It's not Huawei that fights back. It's the CCP.
Yeah.
So,
no, I agree.
we might notice this here. You know, like why would the Biden administration go against big tech? Give me a reason.
Well, he wouldn't. He's absolutely no reason to do anything. It's destroyed his enemies for him, and it's given him millions of dollars for the privilege. And they promote him at every time. They treat him as if he is like this avatar they can shove in everyone's faces. And it's like, holy fuck, man. If that's what Joe Biden stands for, Joe Biden sounds like a sociopathic, tyrannical monster.
But
So,
no, because he's an old man.
No
that's very
wonder his
likable.
inauguration is going to take place in a Capitol building that is filled with soldiers. Like,
Do you know
that
what
screams consent of the governed to me when you have to be sworn in surrounded by 20 fucking thousand soldiers.
You know what they would say if Trump was
It's not
doing
Banana
this?
Republic. Hang on. The most unimpressive candidate, the least popular candidate, everyone's second choice, ends up winning, and he ends up smashing Obama, winning the House and the Senate as well. All three. Like, fucking, the Democrats are totally in charge, and they're acting as if they don't think that they are. And it's weird.
You know how Joe Biden
This
is going
is the
to
behavior of a coup.
You know how
That's what
he
this
is
is.
going to go down in history? What Joe Biden?
Oh, it'll be glowing in the history books, mate.
The Great Unifier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joe Biden had 81 million people vote for him. This smashed Obama's record. And you can see by the charisma and the smile and the aviators that he captured the heart of the American public with his winning and unifying message. You know, and there'll be one line about terrorism and Trump, and then move on to the next line about whoever the next president was.
Okay, listen to this news article, okay? Some
The
Democrats...
villains have won.
No, listen. Some Democrats, not all, in Congress are worried that their colleagues might kill them. I'm not making it up. NBC News, this is what they're saying.
More importantly, I'm not making a comment on it for the safety of V's channel.
You know what I think? I think that
I
if
think it
some
would be despicable.
if some Democrats in Congress are worried that their colleagues might kill them, we need to have regulations in order to constrain their colleagues.
No, hang on.
Like
right.
put their colleagues on a
from a
no-fly
real-
list, for example.
From a real perspective, right?
Yes.
From a real world perspective, if you are actually like a politician and you are genuinely worried that the other elected politicians might kill you, then no, I mean, like, that is a stupid. That
It
is a
sounds
fucking.
it sounds so funny when you put it into perspective.
But it's so absurd. Like, you think your other senators are going to murder you in the Senate building? Is that that's
Yes.
going through your mind? Is it
Yes,
right? Okay,
yes.
right. You sound like a fucking lunatic, right? that is absurd. But let's assume for a moment that there is something to this, right? Let's assume that they have reasons of their own, good or bad, that they want, that you think that might justify in their minds for them to drive to bring a gun and actually shoot you on the Senate floor. Right?
Oh my god.
Maybe, just maybe, it would be worth your time asking them if you can sit down and resolve your differences. But
Right,
they
you mean like sit
never
down and talk?
Fucking do. They
You-
never do.
But you
They will
don't
never try and talk to them.
you don't negotiate with terrorists, Sargon. What is wrong with you? Jesus Christ.
But
That's
you
so
don't know
un-
that they're terrorists. You're just afraid.
Of course
I
they
mean,
are. Like
not
if they
that
wanna
matters.
if they wanna kill you, I mean, holy shit.
Yeah, but you don't know that. They're afraid that they'll kill them, right? So it's like, okay, if I was genuinely afraid, if I was an elected person or anywhere, right, and I thought genuinely that someone was going to kill me there, I would genuinely sit down and go, okay, look, I don't want us to have any particular problems. I don't want us to be in a state of war, right? Let's have a conversation, and that's the point, right? This is one of John Locke's phrases, the state of war, right? And it's where you have two wills and they're at odds with one another, and the only goal that they have at this point in the state of war is to destroy each other. And then force is going to occur, violence is going to occur, and then the state of war ends when one side has been defeated, right? I think that's a fairly accurate representation of reality. And this is one of the reasons why slavery is a constant state of war, right? The slaves are going to constantly want to revolt from their masters and kill their masters given the opportunity. So the slave owners have to be constantly on their guard. And it's like, who the fuck wants to live like this? You know, even if you don't think slavery is a moral bad, from the most selfish point of view, it still doesn't sound like very much fun. You know, why are you living like this? And, you know, obviously then you've got a whole raft of arguments to why slavery is moral evil. Duh. Anyway, The point is, you're not living in a civil society when you're in a state of war. A civil society requires mutual goodwill, and the Democrats never show any mutual goodwill. And this is why they've made themselves so paranoid as to think the Republicans might actually shoot them in the Senate.
Do you know why they think that?
I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's absurd.
Well, I read the article, and they give some really strong arguments here on why they believe that they're not safe.
Based.
Because according to them, right, this is in the article.
Yeah.
Some Republicans believe the QAnon conspiracy theories, which accuse the Democrats of being into pedophilic satanic rings.
Well, I mean, I think that we shouldn't just... hang on. What are you laughing at? What's funny about pedo-Satan rings?
No, like thinking it's like, oh, the guy across the desk. You know, like you look
but,
at
I mean,
them,
like, did the guy across the desk ride on Jeffrey Epstein's plane?
Well,
because
depends.
I mean, we have a list of names. We know the flight logs. We know that Bill Clinton flew on that plane 26 times. Like, unironically, if like Epstein was convicted for trafficking children, sex trafficking for children. So it's like, so it's not like this guy doesn't exist. It's not like this hasn't happened. It's not like there aren't victims. Like you were saying, like, this was me. There are photos of me with Prince Andrew and Ghislaine Maxwell and things like this. Like who is he talking about? Because if they're on Epstein's plane, I would definitely have my suspicions, man.
Let's read some super chats.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, if you were on Epstein's plane, you've got questions to answer. This is what Alan Dershowitz did. Alan Dershowitz had a bunch of answers. Really, really convincing answers.
Tell Sargon that's what you get for not having a constitution.
We do have a constitution. It just doesn't matter.
I mean, I guess it also protects the people in the United States. I noticed. Wasn't there like a governor that said, well, yeah, it's not constitutional, but who the fuck cares? I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah. And this is the thing. Like, nobody in this country seems to realize that we have a constitution. At least people in America are aware of the fact they have, like, guaranteed rights.
That fucking moment when U.S. Capital City has 20,000 National Guards. You know what disturbed me about the picture of the National Guardsmen sleeping on the floor of the Capitol building?
Was it the one reading Ayn Rand?
No. Or was the fact that...
There was a picture of one reading Atlas Shrugged, and I'm like, ooh, based.
I mean, to me, it was disturbing that they were in social distancing, man.
Well, that's a good point.
You know, if
they weren't even wearing masks either. I can't believe Pelosi let that go.
Do you know that if the Capitol building was a church, then they would have started caring?
Possibly.
Yeah. No, but think about it, right? So 20,000 soldiers, and the inauguration is taking place. Aren't they afraid that some of the politicians will get sick?
I guess they just don't care about their lives, endangering them.
That's so brave, isn't it? I mean, I wouldn't be able to be a politician, like risking my life like that, going into a place where it's like a Wuhan hot room over there. It's like 20,000 people without masks, not social distancing. That's a biological hazard ready to go.
Yeah. Shut it down.
Yeah. But you have the politicians going there. I mean, that is so
irresponsible. Brave. Totally irresponsible. Nobody wants any harm to politicians. It's ridiculous. The only harm that I even can countenance is politician on politician violence, which is why I'm just like those Democrats who are concerned about knives in the Senate.
Knives in the Senate. Soldiers occupying it that has more walls and checkpoints than the Benghazi Green Zone. You know what's also interesting, right?
Consent of the governed. That's what we're looking at, folks. Raw consent of the governed.
See, here's what I don't get, right? It's racist to have an ID to vote, right? Like
defund the police.
Having an ID to vote is racist, Carl, right?
Yes.
Okay. But you need an ID in order to get into the elite city now.
Do you?
Yeah, you need an ID to get into Washington, D.C., apparently.
Oh, yeah, they've got curfews as well.
Yeah. So let me get this.
City under curfew, military occupied the Capitol. Joe Biden being sworn in with like 20 of his nearest and dearest. My God, this doesn't look like a South American coup d'etat, does it?
Here's what I don't get, right? So to go vote with an ID is racist, but not to be allowed in the city of the elites without an ID is not racist. How does that work?
Oh, God, no.
But think about...
We're not talking about moral consistency. Nobody cares about that anymore. What we're talking about is making sure that this new junta doesn't get overthrown.
Think about about all the poor people that want to go to the inauguration? They're not going to be allowed because they don't have an ID.
Poor people aren't going to get much consideration in the next 4 years, man. Unless they're
We're going to go to that in a bit, because
Yeah.
I have something really juicy about it. Get a woman who looks at you like V looks at the monitor while talking to Don Carlos. Well,
Oh.
well, yeah, you do say very interesting philosophical things that win me over. Talking
Oh,
about Hobbes like that. That's they gotta open their algorithms for public scrutiny. Most important, I guess they're talking about big tech. If you delete this, I'll fly to the dark lands of Dacians and report you to the government for anti-EU thought. No, I'm sorry, this is getting deleted. Like, fuck
Report
this
you to the government for not paying your taxes, V.
Yeah. Mischief V, City of Figs here, but got banned. Well, I wonder with a name like City of Figs, why did you get banned? Have some stimulus money, V, which is Sargon, you Lotus Eater. And my French Revolution is just a white pill for future Napoleon. I'm telling you, this is a Reformation. Schism is on the only way out.
Well, I hope you're correct.
When is the Chinese Napoleon coming? You know, like this. All right, let me tell you something that happened, transpired today. Very interesting. So after Nancy Pelosi had her office ransacked, apparently daily costs raising $85,000. That's more than my house. To send 25,000 roses to Nancy Pelosi, who has a net worth of $100 million.
I mean, Baked Alaska did make a prank call from her office to her office. So, I mean, she's really gone through a lot.
But this is a few blocks away from actual homeless encampments. Pretty much sums up liberalism and the Democratic Party.
Yeah, it's just the total hypocrites.
Hey, you know
I
what?
mean, the thing is, what they need, look, if they actually solved problems, they wouldn't have a sort of underclass that became dependent on them in order to manipulate, right? So, like, the last thing they want is, like, Republicans, which are, like, is a shorthand now for people who aren't fucking losers or manipulative evil people. So, like, what the fuck do you expect from the Democrats, really?
Well, the Democrats are the party of the poor, so they want you to remain poor, while the Republicans are the party of the rich, so they want you to be rich.
I don't know, man. I think a lot of look at all the protesters who are getting arrested, right? They're like small business owners and stuff like this. Like, I don't think it's that they're necessarily the party of the rich. They're the party of entrepreneurs and, like, individual action.
I mean, that's what they became, because
but
all those people were disenfranchised.
Yeah, but that's fair. But yeah, it's just interesting how, like, like state senators and Olympian athletes have been arrested for storming the Capitol.
Olympian
very
athletes?
interesting to me.
Really?
Yeah, there was a swimmer.
Oh.
It's like based. One of the Backstreet Boys has basically joined QAnon. It's like, yeah, come on. Well, I have no idea what QAnon actually believes outside of the sort of Epstein stuff, because it's labyrinthic. Like, I watched the interview with the QAnon shaman, and I came away less informed than before I'd watched it. Like, something about harmonic frequencies or something, and I'm just like, what?
I think it's a LARP.
Spiritual war.
Yeah, it's a LARP, but it's given a lot of power by the mainstream because they demonize it. It's the same thing, like...
But I don't even understand what he's trying to say. I don't even... Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I guess in their little echo chambers where they're being pushed now, they self-radicalize further and further until they do stick nonsense, But... yeah, no, it's pretty much like the same how heavy metal was treated back in the day. Like, it was treated like it's the most edgy shit ever, because if you listen to the heavy metal, you're going to worship Satan.
Yeah, and look at us now, worshipping Satan.
Yes, exactly. But
so they weren't wrong, were they?
No, I remember, like, people freaking out because their kids were watching MTV. Like, the more you demonize something and you push it to the outer edges of society, the more trendy it becomes to teenagers.
Yeah. What you need to be is scornful.
Scornful.
Enjoy that to your heart's content, and I'll just go away thinking a little less of you. And then you go off and read a book.
You know what I think? It's like back in the day when people were more religious, when they had God. If you wanted to raise your PR, you had to donate to the poor or some shit. And even if you did it just to raise PR, at least there was a poor person with a filled belly. Now, like, what is this going to do? Buying 25,000 flowers to Nancy Pelosi. $80,000 worth of roses. Like, who benefits from that, really? Like, she doesn't need it, obviously. Like, no person in the world needs 80,000 roses. There's nothing you can do with that much.
Well, you know what it's for. It's political ingratiation.
Yeah.
It's buying political favor.
I know, but like back in the day, you had to feed the homeless in order to get that political favor. Like at least someone was
That's because
benefiting.
back in the day, voting mattered.
I don't know what
Kamala
you're
Harris
implying
and
here.
Joe Biden are some of the least popular politicians in like forever. Like Joe Biden's primary turnout was really, really bad, and the fact that he won is just a testament to how bad they are. Like Kamala didn't even get to the final vote. Like she dropped out on 5% because
Didn't she
she's
call?
peaked at 15 and then just gone downhill ever since.
Didn't she call Biden a racist?
Yeah, of course.
How did she
And
explain
and a
that?
rapist. She literally said, "Well, it was the debates," and as if it didn't matter. It's like, there we go. Right, all of this is hollow political theater to the fucking Democrats.
Let me read you another article, okay? NPR
Go.
public editor. Why haven't you seen any stories about the New York Post Hunter Biden story? So NPR said that the reason you don't see it because they don't want to waste their time on stories that are not really stories. And we don't want to waste the listeners' and readers' time on stories that are just pure distractions. Okay, that was last year. This year, President-elect Biden's German Shepherd Major will soon be the first dog to go from a shelter to the White House. That shelter, the Delaware Humane Association, is planning a virtual inauguration ceremony for the Major on Sunday.
Imagine if there's a kind of human being that Brave New World style is bred, right?
Yeah.
And it's bred by a certain class of people in order to want and desire a certain kind of thing. And that is in its interests. The interests of this thing become whatever it is. It's just not something that you understand or relate to.
Yeah.
And freedom might be one of those things. So you could breed a class of people who are just diametrically opposed to the idea of freedom because they conceive of freedom as containing dangers that to them are insurmountable, right? So and now we've described the Kuma, right? The late 20s, early 30s, weedy, fat, crinkly bearded, like weird bearded, like balding fucking manlet, right? This class of person wants nothing more than to be a serf, a willing serf to the globo homo big tech oligopoly.
The global
right?
what?
Just the the international order as it is now, right? So it's these are the people who are literally willing to live this way. They want to live this way. These are the people who love OnlyFans. The simps, the absolutely pathetic losers.
Yeah, but who doesn't love the titty?
That's not the point.
I mean, it's right there. You click it and you see the titty.
Okay, but wouldn't it be better to touch one?
Yeah, but that's difficult. It's more convenient to just move the mouse.
And now we hear the siren song of a fucking globo homo loser. The man who has been bred to be a serf on the international plantation of Amazon. The guy who will literally die a virgin and never touch a breast has spoken. I'm not having an argument with him about anything because I've had sex.
So when you say homo, you mean homogeneity, right?
Yes, obviously.
Obviously, yes.
Global homogeneity.
Yes, homogeneity. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, homogeneity. Wow. Okay, so what do you think about the fact that liberty doesn't appear in the newspaper anymore? Neither does tolerance.
I don't see why it would.
Neither does freedom.
Communists are like, hang on, we're busy taking over. You don't need things like liberty and tolerance. They're actually a problem.
What do you think about what Jack Dorsey's ambition is? One humanity working together.
Just insane. It just makes it sound like the people who disagree with him aren't human in his view.
Not really. I mean, think about a plantation.
Oh, no, that's
right?
totally what it means.
No.
Psychologically.
Think about it this way. On a plantation, right? Everyone is working together to achieve the same goal.
Oh, that's very progressive.
It is very progressive, isn't it?
Very much in the Democrat sphere of experience, I'm sure.
Yeah, but like think about
How to run plantations.
Because this is what I'm trying to push. It's like when you have equality, you can have a place where everyone is a slave. Now, let's say one person is in charge. You're not going to have 100% equality, but you do have 99.99% equality.
So progressive.
It is very progressive. Oh my God, that was like the scariest thing that I have heard. One humanity working together, Jack Dorsey, and it's like, oh, and you just happen to be the shepherd that guides humanity through the darkness.
Like, just, I mean, it sounds like global slavery. I don't want to sound like Alex Jones. I mean, but do you see Biden's thing? Where he's like, oh, right, so we're going to have 2 trillion. We're just going to print off another 2 trillion. It's like, dude, you just printed off 2 trillion. Like, do you think this is not going to have any consequences?
Money printer goes. Brrrr.
Yeah, literally. It's just, oh, well, we'll just print off bit. And it's like, dude, I mean, that's going to be stupid. It's a really bad fucking idea. But if your plan is to crash the economy, then go ahead. And you seem to be doing a great job.
You can't do that. You're not China.
Reduce all to serfs, man. That's what they're doing.
Tell Sargon I'm mad at him for ignoring SoundCloud. I used to listen to him when I was in Afghanistan.
Well, we're on SoundCloud now.
I see. Well, this guy doesn't know.
Yeah, you can go find us on the Load Seaters podcast of the Load Seaters.
What if all those 25,000 soldiers are there to stage an Order 66? And I'm also disappointed no one took a poop on Nancy Pelosi's desk. What the fuck is wrong with these people?
Yeah, who would break into Pelosi's office and not take a shit on her desk? I mean, what kind of insurrection is this?
New Unrealist says Baked Alaska ended the Republic. Well, that's funny you say that because Baked Alaska was finally arrested today. Ladies and gentlemen,
I think that's fake. I think it's fake.
Is it fake?
Yeah.
Well, I still am on the opinion that Baked Alaska is the end game. I mean, they already caught they already caught the shaman. They already caught the guy who put his feet up on the desk.
I just can't believe it. He's on CNN as a domestic terrorist. It's like that's just giving him too much credit. Like the thing is, I don't think he's not a nice guy. Actually, he seems like a really nice guy, to be honest. But like, he's also a fucking idiot, and that is a more apt description that CNN should have gone with. Baked Alaska, John Guillaume or whatever, fucking idiot, right? That's because that's what these people are. Like the QAnon shaman, fucking loopy. You know, like these people are just idiots or crazy.
But does that sell ratings, Sargon?
Well, I mean, I'd laugh at it.
I mean, they
like, I've been laughing at it a lot, to be honest.
CNN does,
except for the weeping because it's oh shit, you ended the fucking republic.
Yeah, but CNN doesn't have
streaming on D-Live.
CNN doesn't have terms of service, right? They're a private company; they can do whatever they want. So.
Oh yeah, I love that argument too. Private company do whatever you want. Well, then what did the East India Company do that was wrong?
Shit.
Conquering India, private company can do what they like. You know, like as if what was wrong with the slave trade? Private company can do what it likes. No, we don't just let private companies do what they like. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're meant to be leftist. You're meant to be going, oh yeah, actually, we'd really like corporations to stop polluting or stop, like enslaving their workforce or whatever is the left used to care about. Like, honestly, I can't get over it.
I got some good shit about enslaving. Hold on. No, I got.
East India Company did nothing wrong.
Like I got shit for This Week is Stupid, and some of it is so spicy. All right, listen to this. All right, listen here.
Be careful.
Yeah. In response
dangerous times.
Okay, so a ketchup company got the ban because apparently they're using slave labor in Xinjiang, and in response to this ban, a Kraft Heinz company spokesperson essentially said. Now I want you to sit down because you're just going to have
sitting down.
Like you're going to have an aneurysm, and I don't want to risk you injuring yourself. All right, listen to this. Yeah. It's okay if we use slave labor in Xinjiang as long as we don't ship our ketchup into the United States.
I mean, just you don't need to worry about conditionals, right? Whenever you get a statement like that, right, you don't need to worry about the conditional. So it's okay for us to use slave labor if anything, the if and beyond, you can take away, and you still have a straight literal statement. So they literally said it's okay for us to use slave labor. That's their statement. You don't need to go any further. That's what they've nailed down and gone. Look, this is an aspect of reality, the moral landscape, the moral reality we're in. It's okay for us to use slave labor. Any more questions?
So ketchup producer Kraft Heinz company has one supplier in Xinjiang, but none of those tomato products are exported or used in the United States, said the company spokesman.
What possible objection could you have then?
Consequently, we do not anticipate any impact.
Just is so bold. Okay, well, I mean, that's their opinion on slavery, guys. Consider yourselves informed.
Oh my fucking god! Like and you know what's funny? Do you know where the leftist protests? At Chick-fucking-fil-A, motherfucker.
Yeah. Independent privately owned Christian business that doesn't seem to do anything particularly wrong. That doesn't use slave labor to get their product, as far as I'm aware. Like, and the thing is, like, I don't want to defend corporations, but God, some of these, every single leftist point is just fucking unreasonable in every single way. Even the ones I agree with are arrived at through unreasonable means, and that means I can't really agree to them because, like, oh no, that's unreasonable, and that leads on to further unreasonableness, and it's like, no.
Neo Unrealist says baked Alaska ended the Republic. You'd think that. I mean, he seems to be the most wanted man, the most wanted man in the newspaper.
He might actually be the most wanted man in America at the moment. Baked Alaska, the guy who used to walk down streets in LA with a speaker connected to the internet, streaming as people paid him to speak out in robot voice the N-word in front of black people. Random black people. Like this woman, he's a fucking idiot. Like, like now, most wanted man in America. Good job, Baked. Good job.
Sargon, you don't trust big tech, but yet you're using Cloudflare. Why? You do know you can build your own CDN, and there are others that are not part of big tech California.
Yeah, well, we'll be moving away from these things as soon as we can.
That might be a good thing. V, your video on Twitter, Jack, was brilliantly done. I loved watching you grow over the years, and you really polished yourself. I got a tear in my cheek right now. This is beautiful.
I'm glad that you improved your sound quality, to be honest. Now you just need to improve. Get some lights, just put them behind your camera, and then your face will be more clear rather than having like these shadows from above, because it makes you look like dark and sinister.
But I want to look dark and sinister.
Yeah, but it's not.
It's not good there.
Not good, no. Shouldn't try not to look dark and sinister.
I'll try to look bright and joyful while talking about.
It's easy to paint you as a villain if you're dark and sinister.
Is this the new house, new background? Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to get something behind me, but right now this is the new house. Yes. Nothing says more free, fair, safe, and secure election all the time than 20,000 military with no civilians allowed. That to agree.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Can you imagine the headlines if Trump were to do this? I mean, they were like, "Oh my God, he ran in a bunker. LOL, bunker boy. LOL."
Literally what happened. They tried to break into the White House. Trump has to get rushed to a bunker, and they're like, "Oh, coward!" And they're like, "Oh, we're afraid other senators might shoot me." It's like, man, I'm not even going to be angry. You know, like I'm just going to be like, "Oh well." Anyway.
Hey Sargon, love your new website, love the book club.
Thank you.
Any chance you'll be making more content like what your symposium channel had?
Yeah, I've just been really busy of late, but yes, I will have like symposium style podcasts and content being made. I just haven't got around to all rush getting everything set up. But once I mean, everything seems to be running fairly smoothly at the moment. We're getting a social media manager on Monday, which will be nice. If we keep growing, I intend to hire another video producer. And yeah, so yes, we will have all that sort of stuff.
Why not just become Democrats? See, that's a good point. I mean, it is a meritocracy, and you do have the choice. You can always choose to become a Democrat.
I don't really like siding with parties that were endorsing slavery, Jim Crow, and the KKK.
The soldier sleeping end-to-end in the Capitol looks like a combat deployment in a foreign theater, like an area under occupation.
They don't even have beds. Like, motherfucker, they can't get beds.
Well, 20,000 people, I don't know. I mean, that's, yeah.
10,000 bunk beds. The military can't do that in its own capital.
How much money does America spend for their defense budget?
Billions. Like 650 billion, something like that. Probably more now.
I mean, I don't know. Beds are expensive, man. I don't know.
I guess
I advise your mods to ban sketch therapy in your chat. He is a known false flagger.
Okay.
What are Sargon's thoughts on V eating the pigeon? This super chat.
You ate your pigeon?
No, I didn't. It's just like one day the pigeon flew off and didn't come back.
Oh, right. And then you had a few feathers stuck in your
teeth. This super chat has been censored for your safety.
Oh, thank you, YouTube.
Did you hear about the Army Hammer story, who is allegedly a cannibal? I did not.
I don't know who that is.
V, remember
but given the state of Hollywood...
V, remember the counter-Uri plan, moralization, stabilization, secureness, normalization. Kitsa was right. Pass it on. Well,
Yeah.
you know, when Yuri Bezmenov said that the whole purpose is to make another culture seem more appealing than yours, there was that video with Wuhan celebrating New Year's and it was packed, and then New York celebrating New Year's and it was desolate. That's
Dude, we've got an article on the website because there's a group of people with credentials, people who I would consider respectable public figures, who have basically laid out a case that maybe these lockdowns are actually a part of a Chinese attack on the West, because the idea of the lockdowns came from Xi Jinping. Like, they just did them, and everyone in the West just started doing them because nobody really knew what to do. And it's like, what the fuck, you sheep? Like, holy Christ. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? But
Well,
yeah, so we've just ruined ourselves, and China hasn't.
does AOC think she's a 21st century Caesar, deemed worthy of knives in the Senate House? We haven't even gotten to Salah's prescriptions yet. Let's call it AOCism. Carl. You know what's interesting? It is the Gamergate playbook, isn't it? It's like, oh, look, I'm such a victim. I'm afraid. Please, please hurt them.
Now politicians are the victim class.
Yeah.
Politicians. You saw them. Look how the politicians are cowering. It's like, yeah, that's cowardly and disgraceful. You know, you shouldn't be cowering. You should be going and talking to the people who are very angry at you. Don't go and ignore them. Go and talk to them.
Well, you know, I'm willing to say, like, talking to an angry mob is not always a good idea. Like, first you calm the angry mob down, and then you do the conversation.
Sure.
But with that said, it is interesting how the politicians weren't angry when the cities were burning down.
Nope.
And
even when Washington, D.C. itself was burning down, they weren't angry. When the president was attacked, they weren't angry. When the Senate's attacked by a bunch of boomers, working class boomers, suddenly it's fury.
Yeah, I noticed this trend, right? When was CHOP shut down? When they protested at the mayor's house. When was the Portland protests cleaned up? When they went and protested at the mayor's house.
Yeah,
it's
Ted
like
Wheeler's house. Yeah.
You kind of notice a trend here, you know? Like,
oh yeah,
you
they
can
don't give a shit about you. The
can do
Democrat
whatever-
politicians do not give a shit about you.
You can do whatever you want, just don't protest the politicians.
Yep.
You both still need to look at the paranoia TRPG. Trump should order tanks to line up the lawn just to troll Biden. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know anything about wise.
What about all the small businesses that are closed? Why can't they do what they want? That's a good question.
Yep. What's the distinction?
Q never advocated or suggested violence. Drops indicated to gather enough food, water for the next 2 weeks and stay out of the wild while the military handled it. It actually reminds me of Alex Jones going around saying, like, go around the Capitol building. Like, don't go.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, getting yourself a good supply of food and water is probably just wise given the current scenario we're in. But I mean, like the Q mythos, I don't know. Who knows?
No, I think it's a LARP.
I'm sure it's a LARP, but like I don't understand it well enough to be able to like.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Engage with it as a
I'll
LARP,
tell you.
know?
Okay, I'll trust the plan. Trump will spin it. He's going to release the Kraken. Just trust the plan. It's all going to fall in place. Any more stuff?
That just sounds like a way of saying do nothing.
Yes. Any more stuff like ancient recitation coming? Will you do ancient recitations?
No, I haven't got any time for that.
I loved your Gilgamesh shit. Like that was cool.
We'll be doing like history podcasts and stuff, just not like just readings of books or anything.
Do you know what's fascinating, right? I read a little bit about the French Revolution because you kind of enticed me on. Do you know you could get decapitated for using Monsieur and Madame instead of citizen?
Yeah.
It's like so fucked up. It's like getting decapitated for misgendering someone.
Yeah.
It's like it happens.
It's literally that. No, it's literally that. Because the point was to remove gender signifiers, right? To create just a gender neutral citizen. Why would you need to do that unless you were trying to destroy elements of the family?
Yeah, but like such a harsh punishment for something so low. It's just like.
Well, a lot of the time they just execute their political opponents because they were political opponents. Like this is where AOC has arrived at. I think she would happily order the execution of a bunch of Republicans.
This is my monthly donation for starving V's in Romania. Epic stream. Haven't seen you laugh so hard in a while, V. Here's you guys. Keep up the laughs. Well, this.
That's nice.
Yeah, the last thing that dies, even in the darkest time, is humor. Sargon, the most important question of all: do you side with justice or disgusting cow tits?
Do I side with justice or
Yeah,
what?
flat justice or disgusting cow tits.
Well, I mean, for purposes of YouTube's term and service, I probably can't endorse justice anymore, so I think I'll have to side with the cultists. Many apologies.
Sargon, you should read Kierkegaard. In his literature, he describes
should.
4 archetypes that I find very relevant today: the normie, the Philistine, the coomer, the aesthetician, the debunker, the ethicist, and the religious.
I definitely should. He's on my list. It's just I've got a lot of the stuff that I want to go through first.
Oh God, reading books, horrible.
It's good stuff. It's really helping, man. It's really helping me understand what the fuck I'm looking at.
What do you guys think about Biden's private security group assigned to protect him, literally called Checkmate?
No way.
I don't think
Of
so.
course
either.
it is. It's probably true. It's probably fucking true.
Is it? Like, why would they call Check?
Because fucking why would they call vote tallying software Dominion? Like, come on. I don't know. Because I think we're actually dealing with villains here, and I think they're actually on the cusp of winning. Like, unironic villains. Like, Jack Dorsey is literally like, we're going to remake the world, one humanity moving forward. And it's like, huh, who is this maniac? Like, what the fuck put this idea in his head?
Can you imagine, like, going
Hank
from
Scorpio over here.
going from diversity is good because you get like diverse opinions, and Apple
Yeah.
think differently to like one humanity, one goal.
Like, it's insane, man. It's fucking insane, isn't it? Like, what is going on? Oh god.
No, seriously, like it was the weirdest thing that I have read. Like when I was going through the Jack Dorsey thing, it's like it's so bizarre. Like especially the part where he's like, it's good to have a decentralized network where one
Yeah.
man can control everything, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck, Jack?
It's unreal. The hypocrisy of it is just unreal. It's like, well, what do I even say to someone who literally is saying, well, look, moral consistency isn't important to me. I
guess, like,
I disavow ethics. It's
what
okay.
if what if Jack is like trapped? You know, like he's a man of principle, and it's just
No
like he
way.
didn't take
He has had every opportunity to do stuff, and he has done the opposite of the right thing. So no, I'm with Tim Pool on this. Jack Dorsey is just a bad person.
How's Arch? Hope is doing fine. Yeah, his channel did get hacked.
Has he got it back yet?
No.
Oh, fucking hell.
Hello, boys. Got my basic training for RAF relatively soon, so I can finally move on with my life despite the coof. Hopefully, my peers are based.
Awesome. Yeah, good luck, man.
You know what's scary about social media? It's not the fact that they can censor you, because that's just like the least scary thing, if you believe it or not. They know everything about you. Like,
Yeah.
every time you log in and they collect data, they get that data about you. So
I saw I saw a thing actually on the Parler hack. I don't know whether it's legit or not, but there's a lot of claiming like, Parler's been accessed in police stations and fire stations and, like infrastructure, like the regular infrastructure that people use. It's like, oh, really? So it sounds a lot more like sort of Fight Club, doesn't it? We guard you while you sleep.
yeah.
They're the people you're fucking with right now. And it's like, this is very interesting. Do go on with these Parler hacks. I'm enjoying them, to be honest.
No, but there was like this news article where a man was receiving commercials for diapers, and he's like, "What? Why am I getting this on Facebook?" Right? He was like, every single commercial was something for a baby product, and a couple of months later, he finds out that his daughter was pregnant, and this goes to show just how much Facebook knows about your shit. And then you read the articles where Facebook, and this is like, I think it was someone from Zuckerberg like bragging about this. And he was talking about how they found out how people watch videos on Facebook, and they noticed like the video which de-radicalizes people. So like, let's say someone that's far right watches a centrist video, and from that centrist video, he goes towards the left. And they will notice like, okay, this video de-radicalizes people, so they will promote it more. I mean, the networking that they create is just astonishingly complex.
Yeah.
And they're like basically trying to change how people think, and they can actually do this through the AI that they're making.
Yes. They can actually manipulate the way you think.
And then I read another article about how some academics experienced with OkCupid dating app, and they wanted to social engineer society because they weren't happy that people are not dating more outside their race than they wanted. So
Right, yeah. Got
yeah,
a
I
plan
mean,
for the races, yeah.
and what they did is like, okay, Cupid gives you a percentage of compatibility. So you put your hobbies there, you put your age and whatever and your height, and it tells you how compatible you are with other people. So they lied about the compatibility. They manipulated the algorithm to tell you you're more compatible with a person of a different race. And they were very successful. They noticed like a major increase of people that found dates after the algorithm was manipulated. Um,
Okay, yeah.
and it's so like it's so bizarre, like the way they're just really having a vision, and they want to push it on society regardless what the masses think.
Yeah, the thing I think that the disconcerting thing that I think everyone's guessing at is the fact that it's a will behind it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like I'm a product of miscegenation, as presumably the left and the right would call it. I'm a product of race mixing. I don't care about that at all. That's just not something that's on my
The statement
political
about
radar.
Sargon's race mixing has been how does Twitter say it?
I don't know.
Has been put under question.
Okay, I don't.
Well, the
care.
far right
The-
disagree with it.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they do. I mean, I'm a bit swarthier than your average Englishman, but okay, never mind. But the point is, right? Like normally, these are not things that you are concerned about, and therefore you're not acting on. So you're concerned about whether you like the person. Are they attractive? Are they going to be a good personality match? Things like this, right? Normally, you're not thinking about racial hierarchies and breeding, and that sort of thing. And so when you've got like a will, a sort of alien will, acting on you in such a way, even if you don't find it harmful, the experience itself is disconcerting because you don't know what their intentions are. You don't know what they're trying to achieve, and so you've got to make sure that. I mean, in this case, no, I don't think it means anything. But like, there could be different cases where this could be something that is actually much to your detriment, your personal detriment. So not in this particular case, but like there could be something. So you got to be careful of this.
No, but what if they change the algorithm, for example, to make sure people don't marry up to escape poverty? Like,
there we go. That's it. That's exactly an example.
If you have a sinister agenda, right, and let's say you're one of the elites, like the thing the elites are the most afraid of, it's not as the Democrats put it that their colleagues might shoot them in the parliament. No, it's the thing they're most afraid of is losing their seat, right, losing the power. And one way to lose the power is if other people become rich and they replace them. So what if they would just make an algorithm to make sure that people just marry within their own income bracket, right? So they don't marry upwards and gain upwards mobility.
Yeah, that would be one way of keeping the peasants in their place.
Yeah. So the very
and there's a super chat, right? JZN107. How did the left arrive at the Brotherhood of Nod adjacent? Peace through power, one vision, one purpose. But who is Kane? Well, Kane is obviously AOC. Power is going to shift quickly in the Brotherhood, and AOC is going to eventually send all the Girondins to the guillotine.
My God, I don't understand how.
On the plus side, though, Alexandra Ocasio Robespierre will fall victim to the very same reign of terror she enacts. So,
Well, let me tell you something, because this is interesting. I saw an NPC short circuit on Reddit, and it was glorious. Let me just see if I can find the Reddit post. Okay, so is this what gaslighting feels like? Asked the NPC. I am to a certain extent into conspiracy theories, but what I'm talking about here is much too grand scale for me to actually believe it was conscious orchestrated. It sure as hell feels like social media or the news is actively trying to drive people insane, though. After the results of the 2016 election, Democrats and Lincoln Project-style Republicans spent years claiming that the election was fraudulent because of Russia interference, while Trump supporters and many others dismissed this as baseless conspiracy, insisting the elections are far too hard to rig. Now in 2020, we see a significant flip where the majority of the same people are now claiming fraud or dismissing it, except it's on the opposite side. In early 2020, we had a very few anti-lockdown protests, which were met with scorn and concern of spreading the virus. Soon after, the George Floyd protest started with little concern about the significantly larger mass gathering during the time when the virus was spreading significantly faster. Then, the very same after the protests died down, Trump held a rally in Oklahoma, which was again met with a ton of concern over large political gatherings as a super spreader event. The BLM protests also started a lot of debate over the legitimacy use of force for political goals, and how strongly the law should crack down on rioters. Now we have a very similar thing going down of the far right-wing rioting met with the exact same reaction from a lot of the exact same people. This shit is legitimately making me feel like a crazy person, though I know it's mostly down to people justifying partisan goals after the fact. It's mind-boggling how many people just aren't registering that they're strongly saying blatantly contradictory things, often within days or weeks. It's just so much close to each other, though, especially considering there are several other examples I'm leaving out.
Dude, I've seen so many people parrot the narrative that, oh my God, they killed a police officer in the Capitol who have got ACAB in their fucking bio.
I saw that.
And I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. I don't ever want to hear from you. You've got nothing to add to any conversation. You are just an NPC. You're a puppet. You're just spewing out program lines with no critical analysis whatsoever.
We used to call them marionette men, though.
That's a good term. Marionette men is a good term. NPC is the modern version, and it fits the modern era better. But like, look at that movie Bob thing, right? The movie Bob post. I put in the chat. Have a look at that.
The one where you're supposed to be sadist.
Yeah, read it out, just so we can bask in the glory of Bob's contribution to moral philosophy.
Okay, so according to movie Bob, it's good to be sadistic. It's good to be sadistic to bigots. It is good to be sadistic to racists. It is good to be sadistic to fascists. It is good for white supremacists, domestic terrorists to go into the meat grinder that is federal law enforcement and incarceration. That is proper use of it.
So Bob, who has been screeching about defund the police, is now obviously in favor of this thing existing, so it can persecute its political enemies. But again, with like I was saying, if you've got to have an if or a qualifier at the end of it, don't worry about the qualifier, because we'll just come to that bridge whenever we come to that circumstance, because the qualifier is always circumstantial, right? It's always contextual. But the principle, it is good to be sadistic. That's just a consistent. There may be times where it's not because contingencies, but overall, as a general rule, Bob thinks it is good to be sadistic. This is evil. Bob has sounded like Hitler for years, but this is another level of radicalization.
To me,
getting to the point where you're like, endorsing sadism is pretty wild.
To me, it's funny because 2014 left. Diversity, tolerance, mutual acceptance.
Oh, God, yeah.
2021 left. It's good to be sadistic.
Yeah, exactly, because they've won. It's when it's according to my principles. When it's according to you, when you're in power, it's according to your principles. When I'm in power, it's according to mine. My difference is just not mine are not the same as yours, and there's full on mask off now. Mask off.
Oh God. How did Canada was a dominion? The name is a legacy of British imperialism that kind of stuck. Various retailers will work the word into their names.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Why is Capcom trying to stop fan art mods? Okay, so they're not trying to stop fan art mods. I actually spoke with a Blizzard developer and I found out why Blizzard and Capcom doesn't like porn mods of their game. It's because when you go and you Google Overwatch and the first result is porn, Blizzard doesn't really appreciate that.
Okay, I can kind of understand that, to be honest.
It's difficult to market the game to children when little Billy tells grandma to buy him Overwatch and grandma goes like, what is this game? And she types it into Google and, she sees Farah's tits staring at her on the screen. They don't appreciate it. Oh my God, they just suspended Hungary government Twitter account.
Really? Fucking hell. Hungary should then ban Twitter in response.
Honestly, they should at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, the people who really want to will use VPN anyway.
Yeah, sure. But some action should be taken here.
Kamala Harris's Secret Service codename is Pioneer. We're seeing levels of narcissism that shouldn't even be... Get the fuck out. I don't believe it.
Pioneer. Unreal. Unfucking real.
Yeah, don't you know, when she was a kid, she went to this civil rights movement, and she had
probably in the middle of Kwanzaa, right? No, I don't think that there's anything true about any of the narratives these people are coming out with. They seem to be total fucking frauds.
This is why human rights should not be universal but subscription models. We all need some Kizazism. Raise your fist in unity for the island. Human rights, isn't free speech a human right?
It's meant to be.
Yeah, I mean,
Ideologically, if a human right is essentially any natural ability a human has, then yeah, it is.
yeah, isn't freedom of movement a human right?
Yeah.
Isn't owning property a human right?
Yeah.
So
Any natural ability that a human has, like the
Yeah.
ability to like build something, the ability to speak, the ability to move.
yeah, when I hear people in the U.S. like, let's make healthcare a human right, it's like the answer should be like, why? So you can piss on it, like you piss on the other human rights.
Maybe.
I mean, no, honestly, like
I mean, they do.
in the UK, they actually stated that if you're a racist, you won't get treated by the NHS. And I'm
Yeah,
thinking, it's like,
yeah.
okay, so racists are good pay piggers then. Like, why would you want to taint the NHS with racist money? Why
They keep saying the latest thing that the sort of NHS cultists have been coming out with is dude, it's a fucking religion. It is a religion. The NHS is a holy church that will save your soul. Okay, and your soul, by your soul I mean your body, and by save I mean infect you with COVID, because that's where people are getting COVID now, going to the hospital.
Oh yeah, the
That's where
doctors are
my
vectors.
wife caught COVID from the hospital.
Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just like great, But the NHS cultists, they put out like these graphics saying, "Oh look, we've got an acronym, a TWAT, which is a twat, which is an insult in England."
Yeah, I know.
They've got like, for people who refuse to follow lockdowns and stuff like that, we should refuse to serve them. It's like, okay, and if they aren't getting served, then surely they don't have to pay for the NHS. So we have a contractually acceptable agreement. I'll leave my house and not get charged to use the NHS, and I'll pay for private healthcare. Right? That is that is an agreeable contractual relationship. I would agree with that. I wish they'd propose it seriously. Like, holy fuck.
Do you know what's interesting? Not only did universities shut down during COVID, and people had to live stream the courses, but they also had to pay the same amount. Harvard
Yeah.
University literally became the most expensive streaming service in the world. I mean, here's a question.
Well, that's
right?
why academic agency is doing so well. I mean, he's making loads of money because his courses are like 1/10 of the price, and he's a professor. So
Yeah.
it's like,
No, but think about it, right? I mean, if the schools are closed, why do you still pay the same amount of taxes? Like, surely,
mad.
yeah. Why are the politicians getting paid during the lockdowns? I mean, shouldn't they show
Yep.
solidarity with the people that? I mean, if a waitress doesn't get paid, surely a politician can show solidarity and not get paid as well.
Germany is apparently building a camp for COVID patients, just like Cuomo wants to.
Well, you got to put them somewhere.
Amazing. The Germans are back to building camps. Just can't stop themselves, can they?
Did you see film Robert asked for Germany to invade Poland after the Polish elections?
Yes, I believe I did see that, and of
Did
course
that
he did.
actually happen?
Invade Poland, build camps. What else?
Does Germany even have an army to invade Poland with?
No, but it's got the EU.
Yeah, but like it wouldn't be Germany then, and the EU doesn't even have an army yet. But like even
Yeah, but
then,
it would still be Germany doing it. Man.
how would it be viewed for Germany to invade a member of NATO?
Well, I mean, what's going to happen?
Well, I mean, Poland can just go. It's like, all right, well, we're nationalizing these American bases with nukes on our territory, and we're going to just defend ourselves. It's like, what the fuck?
Right. Poland nuking Germany wasn't the arc I was expecting for 2021, but
No, but seriously,
let's
like
see where this goes.
Yeah, there was like a Romanian general, and they were playing like these war games. It's like, what happens if the Russians invade and the Americans don't defend us? It's like, well, we have American bases with nuclear weapons on our territory, so I guess we'll just like force them to give us the fuck.
I mean, what are your options at this point?
AOC won't fall to her reign of terror. She's just a girl, tee and isn't responsible for others' actions.
No. Ilhan Omar will put her up against the wall. Ilhan Omar has got the cold eyes of a killer. Right, this woman is prepared to marry her own brother for citizenship. Like she is going to put AOC up against the wall, have her shots, and she won't even blink.
Hungary government account banned. China camps hello. You know what I think? I think Twitter will just say, "Oh, this was a mistake. We didn't want to ban. Oh,
Yeah.
we're so
It
sorry."
depends whether they can get away with it or not. If they can get away with it, then they'll just stay banned. And if they can't, they'll be like, ooh, that was an accident.
Press 1 for COVID mock fry. Well, Blizzard went.
Vaccination Mac Fry, you mean?
Blizzard went too far after going after one of their fan artists, so I started making a legal defense fund to go after the companies when they send goons for people for people's homes to intimidate. So this is Bob BQ, the admin of Loot Gamer website, and yeah, he defended the artist in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing. Like legal defense funds, I'm all for them.
Oh, totally.
Hey V, here's some money. Also to Sargon, thank you for turning me to Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I'm really enjoying it and bought it for my friends as well.
You are very welcome. I'll be doing my book club on that very soon.
And you shouldn't have made them so sexy, Capcom. Yeah. Well, it's not that Capcom is making characters sexy. It's that Western games are making characters look like butch men with broad shoulders, strong jawlines. Like literally, you know, like it's not that they're making women dress up all the way to the neck. No. They're giving them like small tits, short hair, broad shoulders, strong jawlines. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, not sexy. Thanks.
It's not even not sexy. It just scars the retina. Like they're making them ugly on purpose. Because I spoke to some artists there, and it's like they're actually told to make women look as unappealing and androgynous as possible.
I believe it.
Yeah. Oh, my fucking God. Let's see if I got some other news, because it was a very, very eventful week. Oh, yeah, Project Veritas showed Jack Dorsey. Did you see that?
Yep.
I wasn't even shocked. I was like, well, what's new? I mean, we all knew that he was going to ban people.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I've been expecting this for quite some time.
Okay.
Hence me setting up a website. You know.
Tory London, mayor candidate. Homeless can save up for house deposit. A homeless person could easily afford £5,000 to deposit on affordable homes.
What? Who said that?
Tory London mayor candidate.
Well, that's fucking stupid, isn't it?
You know, I don't think so. I mean, if the option is there, and I'll tell you what, okay? Because there's different types of homeless people. You have the homeless people that are literally on the streets, you know, begging. Yeah. And then you have the couch surfer.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be possible for the couch surfer to get enough money to get like £5,000.
Sure. But when people say homeless, they're not thinking of the couch surfer.
But yeah, but he is a homeless.
Sure. But when they say homeless, they're not thinking of him.
I know. But
so they don't mean him. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about people on the streets, right?
Yeah, but
that's what people think about when they think homeless.
When you say I wouldn't even rape you, people don't think that you wouldn't actually do it. Like, what people think is that you would normally rape people, but you wouldn't rape that particular lady.
What? Yeah, like, that doesn't mean that when people say homeless, the reason that's a ridiculous statement. I mean, you maybe a couch surfer could save up $4,000, but that's not what we're talking about.
Yes, I get it. Yeah, but like what I'm trying to say is that there is the possibility of giving the guy a leeway.
Yeah, okay, but it's just, like I agree, but it's still a stupid thing to say.
It is. Just like saying I wouldn't even. U.S. Representative Eric Swalwell compares Trump to Osama bin Laden. Okay. Is he trying to say that Trump was initially raised and groomed by the CIA?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a good question. That's a good question. Yeah. Is Trump a CIA asset? Nobody's explored that question yet.
Okay, listen.
Weird how that never came up.
Listen to this by the Palmer Report from the people that brought us healing and unity. Conservatives cannot be teachers, police officers, doctors, lawyers, coaches, or bosses. It's constitutionally unfair to others who are subjected to the conservatives' deranged judgment. Conservatives can do menial work.
This is going to be coming from someone who's like, you know, I'm a trans woman and my ovaries are quivering. Right? Is it like fucking hell?
Okay, hold on. Now comes the big one. Okay, are you ready? Conservatives can do menial work until they're ready to join the human race.
Wow. Not conservatives, not even human.
Blue check mark on Twitter.
So progressive.
So fucking progressive. Oh my fucking!
I can't stand it.
Why is it that they're not getting striked for the TOS violation? How is this not encouraging violence?
Well, because it's not about moral consistency.
Mm-hmm. You know, like I noticed this. It's like when you're on the side of the Dorsey, everything you do gets to be looked over. When you're against the Dorsey, it's like, broken tail light. Broken
Yeah.
tail light.
Malicious compliance with the rules. Like, that's what it is.
Here's the news that's fucked up, okay? Stefan Thomas, a German-born programmer living in San Francisco, has 2 guesses left to figure out a password that is worth, as of this week, about $220 billion. The password...
How is it that there's no sort of, like, password retrieval?
Well, apparently, the password will let him unlock a small hard drive known as an iron key, which contains the private keys to a digital wallet that holds 7,002 Bitcoin. While the price of Bitcoin...
Jesus.
While the price of Bitcoin dropped sharply on Monday, it is still up more than 50%. The problem is that Mr. Tomas years ago lost the paper where he wrote down the password, which gives the user 10 guesses before it seizes up and encrypts its contents forever. He has since tried 8 of the most commonly used password formulations to no avail. It would just lay in bed and think about it, Mr. Tomas said. Then I would go to the computer with some new strategy and it wouldn't work. So the guy has 8 out of 10 things used up. Like, what would you do in his position?
Find that piece of paper. Like, what else are you going to do? Don't keep guessing, idiot. Like, you got to find that piece of paper. Where was it? Where were you when you wrote it down?
Man, that is just like such a difficult thing. Okay, listen to this. Laura Bassett, blue check mark on Twitter.
We'll make this the last one because I've got to go in a minute.
Okay. A presidency that started with Trump defending the size of his penis on a debate stage was always going to end up with marauding gangs of zombified man babies storming the Capitol. Okay, and that's the article. All right. Do you want to know what is the bestseller that Laura Bassett is known for?
Who?
This is
the author of that article. Is it?
Yeah, yeah. Why violent protests work.
Oh my god. And this is the thing. These people with their fucking moral hypocrisy. I can't stand it. It's for me, not for thee. Are there any questions? Well, not anymore.
Oh my fucking god. Well, I thank you for being here, man.
Oh, dude, anytime. Well, not anytime because I'm always busy, but like, it's a pleasure to be here, man.
And it's a pleasure for you hosting my articles. I will delete the stream, of course, because you were a spicy boy in the beginning.
I don't think I was.
I don't think it was. Yeah, people should shoot
But
each other.
this is the reign of terror we live under. I really don't think I don't think I like said anything. But anyway, yeah. Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I'll read the super chats after you're gone.
Take it easy, man. Bye.
So yeah. Do you think eventually they will come after websites as well? Build your old DNS and email. Okay, so from what I noticed, they don't really want to purge everyone, right? Because it's financially bad for them. And the second thing is that if they ban everyone at the same time, then those people can just organize and they're more effective at making alternative. It's very similar to what happened, I believe, in South Africa, where you noticed a cultural persecution of white farmers. And when Australia said, it's like, all right, well, all the white farmers can come to us, the government panicked because they do not want all the white farmers to live in a short time period, because that would cause massive famine and drought within South Africa. So yeah, they will probably come after websites. I mean, AdSense, the platform's websites all the time. But what they want to do is like they go after the most prominent websites and a couple of others in order to instill the fear and dread and get the other websites to comply. Conservatives will become the Untermensch under the new global regime. You know, it's kind of difficult to say what will happen, because I remember when Obama was elected, there was a lot, and I mean a lot of enthusiasm for Obama, and anyone that wasn't enthusiastic enough would be called out. So it will take like a couple of years, and I think you're going to see that the populist left was going to feel disenfranchised as well, and they're going to be like, why are we supporting this? Can an overeducated grand weeblord contribute to the book club? I have happen to have a good handle on the classics, so unfortunately I cannot say anything about that because Sargon has left. I just joined the stream. Hold off deleting it for the next hour while I start the beginning, please. No, I'm sorry, Mr. Twisted Friends. It's a hot potato. It's a hot potato, and you know, like it's not that I want it to be a hot potato. Like here's how it works, okay? During this stream, I am 100% sure that no terms of service have been broken. I don't think that anything Sargon has said is against YouTube's TOS. However, we live in a time period where figure of speech can get a stream deleted. If you make a joke, it can get a stream deleted. For example, Bannon. Okay, Bannon said the expression of heads will roll, which is a figure of speech, and that got a strike on his channel. That got his channel terminated. So it is what it is, you know. It's why I don't really have guests anymore. It's why I have to delete it if I want to stream in the future. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Jesus, 1,100 people. Holy shit, that's a little bit too spicy. Yeah, I usually like just getting 300 people watching me. I'm not that entertaining though, so. Did download the video and put it on another platform? No. Thank you for watching. I'll go to